Bad Religion is like wine. The older, the better.
The older, the better.
I like that. That's a pretty cool metaphor. Yeah.
The average age of the band is still about 25. So it's not that old. Yeah. It's just that we were so young before that it was absurd.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think the group is probably better now than it was 5 years ago, or 9 years ago even.
So what happened between 84 and 88? I mean, there were 4 years of nothing about Bad Religion, and then the comeback of the year.
Well, it's not that we did nothing, but we didn't have any vinyl. The group was active in the United States playing, but if a group doesn't have new vinyl, then there's no interest.
When we started Bad Religion, we were all very young, and as you reach an age around, especially around 18 through 22, where you really are self-motivated. You go off in many directions. You lose a lot of friends during those years, I think. And everybody went and did their own thing. The band still played once in a while, but only with myself being the only original core member. And then Peter played for a good number of those shows. Jay came back and played a good number of shows. But then we didn't get this whole group back together again as it stands here until 87.
Your lyrics changed from the first album, where they had a more quiet, general, political stuff, to more personal stuff. And sometimes it seems to me that you are a little bit, not tired, but a little bit cynical and more, without big hope.
On the new album?
Yeah.
On Suffer?
Suffer, yeah.
Without hope. More pessimistic, you mean?
Yeah.
More pessimistic than Fuck Armageddon, This Is Hell? Which I don't think the pessimism is any stronger. Maybe maybe we've gotten better at writing gloomy lyrics, you know. They're never intended to make people think that there's no hope, though. Because we don't make declarations. We don't say there is no hope. We rather tend to pose questions and ask questions like, how much is enough? You know, is someone watching over you? Things like that.
There are a couple
declarations.
I mean, in Suffer we say a few things.
The message of humanity.
Yeah. See, one thing that needs to be clarified is, as far as the lyrics on the album, Greg writes half and I write half, and they mesh very closely. So, because our philosophies are very similar. But I think maybe I'm a little bit more cynical than Greg.
I think so.
On the record, because I'll sit here and say that there's no hope for certain areas, you know. Which is not to say that we need to just take a gun and shoot ourselves in the head, but just try to make the best of it and live life for the short period of time that we're on Earth, you know.
The pessimism in my lyrics stem more from not because I think there's no hope, because I know that there's a great potential in humans. But the pessimism comes from the realization that we're not realizing that potential. You understand? So it's a pessimism, but there's a degree of a lot of hope, because I know how powerful the human mind is.
Into the Unknown. What kind of album was that? Heavy drug abuse, or... I mean, did you know that you're so popular here, that all the shows are so packed?
Whenever I'm going into something that I don't know what's going to happen, I always try to think of the worst possible thing that's going to be horrible, so that if it is, I'm not disappointed.
Me too.
So I didn't think that we were this popular here.
People tend to be a lot more interested in lyrics over here, which I like because I write songs. But you know, that's kind of an added benefit when you are actually writing and people are listening. Because very often you put a lot of thought into a song, and most often people just, I give it a 10 to dance to. You know, they care about the music. So,
in America, we receive criticism for our lyrics. Oh, how can you have punk rock music with words like this? It's stupid. It's, you know, no one wants to hear it. You know, it's good like that. You know, it's like it's anti-punk rock or something. You know.
Greg, you've toured Europe before with Circle Jerks and Gangrene, and yeah, you did a very different kind of tour.
Yeah.
If you compare both things, what do you feel about it?
Well, it seems like more people come out to the alternative shows. A little bit more people, probably because of the lower ticket price. I like both. Somewhere in the middle.
Do you have some kind of political message, or what do you think about politics? Or?
Bad Religion stays out of politics. People think we're a political band. Maybe we have one song on the album that sounds political, which is part 2 of the Numbers Game. But in general, I think Bad Religion is more concerned with sociological ideology and perhaps metaphysical questions, and not so much political. I really don't.
Beyond politics. At least that's what I've tried to do in recently when I write. Is I try to go a step beyond Americans versus Europeans versus Russians. I try to bring it to a level of humanity in general. And when you start talking about humanity, you're far beyond politics.